Hi guys, and welcome back to my guide through Chapter 9 of Celeste. I'm going to do a special episode today because I think it's worth covering in its own video. When you get to the Event Horizon checkpoint and beyond, the game expects you and requires you to be able to perform one of two advanced techniques. They are known as wavedashing, which you're actually seeing on the screen here in the sort of, I don't know, the TV on the background there, the little visual, the ghostly Madeline there. So that is wavedashing, and then there's another one called extended hyperdashing, and I will go through both of those in this video. I'll also go through corner boosting because again it's something that this level requires you to know about, but you don't get taught it until you reach chapter 7B, so the B side of chapter 7. And yeah, so and you don't have to do that level in order to get to this level, so there's every chance you've actually reached this point without having that explained to you by the game. So I will go over those in this video. Wave dashing allows you to jump really far out over that gap there and keep your dash. So you see how my hair is still blue. If you just dash forward and jump, you get a nice long jump, but your hair is still blue. And so you can't dash again. And so wave dashing gets around that. So if you jump up, if you're in the air and then you dash diagonally down into the ground, you get to retain your dash through that jump. So you get the best of both worlds. If you see that. Oh, it's easy to miss if you diagonal dash when you're too high up. You won't get the jump, and if you do it when you're too close to the ground, you won't recover your dash. So is it, and this internet cafe here has a quite a good tutorial on how that works. But yeah, so you can see this is the sort of thing that you need it for in the chapter. It's easier to practice on some flat ground, to be honest. So let's just take a quick look at that. Yeah, so you just want to fly in some nice flat open ground. Hi there, Granny. If I don't approach you, you'll be alright. And practice just going back and forth and getting a big long jump and also retaining your dash. Can you see how my hair stays red? You want to chain it, see if you can chain a few together as well. That's quite an important part of wave dashing. Like that. And you'll quickly realize if you don't manage it, because you will run out of dash and you will not be able to. There's quite a nice rhythm too. There are probably better flat areas of ground, but this does the job. So yeah, hopefully you take the time to practice this. It's obviously no real substitute for doing it in a live scenario. But yeah, get practicing. So yeah, so that was how to practice some wave dashing on easier ground. The alternative solution is, as I said, something called extended hyperdashing, and you won't get taught this at all, frankly. So what you will do is a hyperdash. So in order to hyperdash, you hold down and forward diagonally. So I'm actually holding down and forward there, and if you dash and jump at the same time, you do this really quick burst sort of jump forward, which is a good way to get around quickly. Now the problem with that is, again, just like dashing normally and jumping forward, you don't retain your dash. You in fact lose your dash because of you only get one. And so what you have to do is, instead of pressing jump and dash at the same time. You have to dash first and then jump a couple of frames later. And so you need to really think of this as being two distinct movements. Oh, hang on. This needs to be two distinct movements in your mind. So you dash and then you jump. Don't even try and do it as one sort of technique. You can sort of roll your thumb across with a bit of a delay in between, but to be honest, I find that so inconsistent, and you'll get a bit frustrated. And so, yeah. So and I think I prefer extended hyperdashing because you don't need the sort of initial jump upwards, so that you that wave dashing requires. So you can sort of do it a bit a bit more on the fly, with less preparation. If you haven't got enough space, you also need to be able to move forward, so there'll be some times where you have to wave dash like that, where you have to, if you're on a really small platform, you might have to jump off the back of it. It's probably more consistent to pull off as a trick, frankly, but I don't know. I think extended hyperdashing has more practical uses more of the time. The other thing you need to bear in mind with extended hyperdashing in particular, I'm just seeing if it's something you need to worry about for wave dashing as well. Yeah, so in order to get the maximum amount of bang for your buck, you need to hold down jump. So this is like a maximum hyperdash there. So you see I nearly reached the wall. In fact, I probably can reach the wall if I do it from near enough the end of the platform. So if I yeah, so you see I was able to grab the wall there. But if you just do a sort of without holding jump, you can see you don't get anywhere near as far. So it's really important that you get used to holding down jump. Yeah, so there's quite a difference there. Okay, and again, I would suggest practicing on some flat ground is probably the easiest thing to do. And here you want to practice some extended hyperdashes and get used to that feeling. And remember, with hyperdashing, it is dash then jump, dash then jump. It's not dash and jump at the same time. It's not even dash with jump a few frames later. It is dash then jump. Think of it as two separate movements. Try and chain a few together if you can. The beauty of extended hyperdashing as opposed to wave dashing is that even if you don't have a dash at the time, you can perform one. So for instance, if I were to do that, you can quite quickly jump into a, so you see I haven't got a dash, and then when I land on the floor, okay, well I failed it, but no dash, extended hyperdash. Whereas a wave dash, you need to refresh your dash and then jump up and do it. So they each have their pros and cons. But yeah, find a nice flat area of ground and start practicing. Okay, so back here, let's continue through and show you why I want to talk about corner boosting. So corner boosting, as I said, was a technique taught to you in chapter 7b, and you can see it being used here in a bit of an advanced way, to be honest. So Madeline is, or Ghost Madeline is jumping down and then using the corner boost off the first one to hook herself round onto the second one, and there's a lot of that sort of stuff in this level, and you can see it's actually quite easy to fail. So a couple of pro strats for how to use the corner boost in the way they expect you to here. So make sure you are holding up when you dash. I mean, you have to hold up to dash upwards anyway. So that's one sort of obvious thing. And then the second one that I've been struggling with recently, and I just have to kind of mentally force myself to think about the stages of what you're doing rather than just considering it one smooth technique, is you need to press jump as you reach the corner you're actually boosting off of. So if you, it feels natural to sort of do it all at the same time, but if you do that, you'll have pressed jump too early, like I just did there. So I'm holding jump there, but I've already pressed it by the time. So you need to think of it as you're actually jumping off of the corner, and not just doing it too early. There you go. And then also, again, as with hyperdashing, to get the most bang for your buck, to get the real maximum height, like that, as opposed to like that, you need to hold jump to get the highest possible momentum. And if you just sort of tap jump, you get a lower one, just like with your actual jump, right? So you get a little dash jump, and then you get more height if you hold it down. So to get the really high ones that you might think, oh, I'm not getting it right, the answer is you need to hold down jump. So remember, you need to press X as you actually come up to the wall. You need to hold X to get that extra height, and you need to be holding up as well at the same time. So yeah, corner boosting you can practice anywhere that has corners. So even on this screen here, you get this nice set of corners there, and you can see it's very powerful because you go round the edge of it all, and it looks harder than it is. Trust me, it's something that if you start practicing, you'll realize it's actually quite straightforward. But it's the thinking of it as actually jumping off the corner rather than just holding X as you jump, because if you do that, you'll end up just doing stuff like this, where you won't get your jump. Yeah, well, you won't get your jump, and you'll get very frustrated by it. So anyway, that was a brief tutorial on those two specific techniques. Very important for the remainder of this chapter. Definitely think it's worth practicing separately. So good luck with that, and I will see you back at the start of this checkpoint to talk you through Event Horizon. Thank you very much for watching.